Very good evening, friends. Meeting again in the session of Materia Medica. And today we're going to learn one more important remedy from fourth year syllabus, that is carbolic acid. It is a phenol. It's a glacial carbolic acid. It's a phenol group. It's a it's like a carbon derivative. But here the putridity is very characteristic. I have not so much experience because this remedy is not thoroughly proved, but still there were some cases I have treated, one of which was interesting one. A young girl, nearly about 7-8 years of age, it was in 1997, 7-8 years age girl, she was brought to me with a very severe eruptions around the vulva. And that there was a complaint that it was having very offensive discharge. At the same time, she was having since last 6-7 months a leukorrhea. So whenever we get a case young in leukorrhea in small children, small girls, there are very few remedies. But the characteristic of leukorrhea was it was very fetid, very offensive, and it was causing burning and itching around the parts. And the mother's thought was it was because of that she has developed all those eruptions around the vulva. So when I examined her, there were many eruptions around the vulva and it was discharging. She was very in agony because of that pain, and at the same time very offensiveness was there, and really she was having a leukorrheal discharge. It was greenish in color, it was acrid, it was profuse. At the same time, it was causing a lot of irritation. It was observable that she has scratched a lot over there, and mostly it was secondary bacterial infection which has developed over there because of itching or scratching. So putridity with leukorrhea in children, specifically it is copious, acrid and greenish, specifically greenish. The carbolic acid is the remedy for it. So I have considered better to start with carbolic acid because there are few remedies for the leukorrhea in children. There is sepia also indicated for it. There is even a pulsatilla is also mentioned for the leukorrhea in small children. There are 3-4 remedies which are mentioned for that. Then cannabis sativa is there, the mercurius is there. But this is a wonderful remedy where specific characteristic was that there was tremendous copious flow, a greenish discharge, leukorrhea in children, and putridity and offensiveness with a infective focus. So I have decided to give the carbolic acid in 30 potency in repeated doses for 3-4 days. I asked her to show me again after 3-4 days. Wonderfully enough, that within 4 days, the whole eruptions completely disappeared from that place. Absolutely, it was cleaned. There was no more discharges and leukorrhea was much decreased, but still offensiveness was there of the leukorrhea. So I asked them to continue medicine for another 3-4 days, and then I stopped that and asked them to meet me after 15 days. And after 15 days, when she was brought to me, she was completely recovered from that discharge. There was no offensive discharge, there was nothing, and it was completely healed. And then I have kept her on placebo for another 2-3 months. There was no recurrence and she was wonderfully recovered from that. So it was one important case where I have used the carbolic acid in that specific girl. Second important thing where I used to consider this remedy, especially whenever there is a constipation associated with very offensive breath. So offensiveness to the breath with a constipation. Don't forget this. These people always crave stimulants. They crave the alcohol. They crave the tobacco. And these people suffers from constipation and their breath has very offensiveness. So halitosis along with rustox, this is wonderful remedy when it is associated with severe constipation. There I have tried the carbolic acid with good results. So this is a remedy which we have to learn. It is very close to it. Just open Alan Skinner's glacial carbolic acid. Carbolic acid. The potencies are made with the alcohol, an exception to the rule of the preparing acids. Pains, this is the remedy of pains, even pains of cancer. This is a wonderful remedy to be think of. Pains are terrible. They come suddenly, last for a short time and disappear suddenly like belladonna, like macphos. Very acuteness of pain is characteristic over there. Profound prostration. It is like a shock state, like carbovage. It is profound prostration, there is collapse, the surface becomes pale and bathed in cold sweat. So there is tremendous sweating, there is a surface is absolutely pale, it looks like collapsed. So this is a remedy very close to the carbon, carbovage, camphor, veratrum. It is a shock state which you can observe over there. So this is one remedy one should not forget over there. Physical exertion, even much walking, brings on abscess in some part, but generally in right ear, Artie Cooper. This symptom, I used to tell everyone that this is called as queer symptom. There is no logical relation that exertion causes abscess in the ear. No logical correlation, but it happens to be there, and that's why it is queer. Queer manje vichitra, which you cannot explain on any logical basis. So this is a clear symptom of carbolic acid that much walking causes some abscess in some parts of the body, especially in the right ear. And this is Cooper's observation, which he has mentioned over there. Dull, heavy frontal headache as if rubber band were stretched tightly over the forehead from temple to temple. So there is very severe pain across the temples and someone is as if very tightly pressing with the rubber band. Very characteristic like gelsemium. That sensation is there. Platina it is there. Sometimes even sulfur you can get similar types of sensation. When burns tend to ulceration, this is good remedy for burns. Even it has been applied many times, people applies it locally. When burns tend to ulceration and echorous discharge, there is a tremendous echorous discharge from there. Putrid discharges from mouth, from nose, from throat, from nostrils, from rectum and vagina. So all discharges they are putrid, they are offensive, they are horribly offensive in fact, like anthracinum, like soranum, like pyrogen. Malignant scarlatina and variola. Variola is nothing but the smallpox virus. Variola, that is old terminology for smallpox. Ammonium car. Lacerated wounds from blunt instruments, bones bare, crushed, much sloughing of the parts, calendula, along with calendula locally, you can utilize the carbolic acid specifically if bones comes out and there is a lot of slough over there, injuries, in order to prevent the infection, carbolic acid plays very vital role because it itself work as a disinfectant also. Longing for whiskey and tobacco, that's what I have explained, asaram, carbovage. Vomiting of drunkards in pregnancy, seasickness. So vomiting of pregnancy, vomiting, seasickness vomiting, vomiting of cancer, vomiting of dark olive green fluid. Green character, greenish,ness is characteristic of this remedy along with natrum sulfuricum. One more remedy you can think is the pyrogen over there where such types of vomiting you can get. Dysentery, fluid, mucus like scrapings of mucous membranes, and great tenesmus like cantheris, like mercor. So there is very much severe tenesmus, pain in the abdomen, pain at the anal rectum region. Diarrhea, stool thin, involuntary, black of an intolerable odor. So all discharges, they are having very offensiveness is the characteristic of this carbolic acid. Constipation with horribly offensive breath, it is given in bold and that has a significance. Opium, sorinum, these are the remedies one should not forget. Leucorrhea, pustules, right over there, it is not there in carbolic acid written in the alens, but right pustules on vulva. There is a leucorrhea causing itching and burning, especially leucorrhea of children. Leucorrhea is acrid, leucorrhea is copious, it is fetid, and it is greenish. So these completely denotes the state of leucorrhea in children, and that gives you directly an idea to prescribe the carbolic acid. There is one more feature which you must add in this book: fermentation, fermentative dyspepsia with desire for stimulants. So there is fermentative dyspepsia with desire for tremendous stimulants like tobacco, like whiskey, beer, etc. Relationship: compare arsenic, creosote in burns, ulcers with unhealthy offensive discharges. Then other remedies: gelsemium for headache, myrrh for the leucorrhea in children, sulfur specifically already we have mentioned over there for the headache. Carbolic acid is antidoted by dilute cedar vinegar. Cedar vinegar is acidic acid, either externally or internally when acid has been swallowed accidentally or taken for suicidal purposes. That is the material use of the acetic acid for the accidental material carbolic acid. It is not for the dynamic effects of carbolic acid. So this is a wonderful remedy from the carbon group, phenol, and it is having very tremendous action specifically on the skin as an irritant, disinfectant, as well as it is a good remedy specifically for leukorrhea in children and fermentative dyspepsia, especially of alcoholics and who craves the alcohol, tobacco, the desires for it, and there is a tremendous severe dysentery with offensive discharge and tenesmus, then one should not forget the carbolic acid. So a short remedy but important from exam point of view. The characteristic of pains: pains of cancers, acute pains come suddenly, remains for short period and disappear suddenly like a belladonna over there. So one more remedy from fourth year syllabus. Today we have finished. We'll meet tomorrow on Monday with some other remedy. So thank you and good night.
Thank you very much, sir.